And a very good Wednesday afternoon to you. I'm FOX54 Weather Impact Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. I do want it known that we actually did get to enjoy a little bit of sunshine through the course of the afternoon. Now, that sunshine was somewhat difficult to come by, but we did actually get to enjoy a little bit of sunshine across the Tennessee Valley. Now, it's kind of intermingled between scattered showers and thunderstorms this afternoon across the Tennessee Valley, which is kind of a whole other thing that we continue to talk about this afternoon. Now, it's interesting. None of these storms are severe, but they are producing the smallest, emphasis here on the smallest levels of hail. And I don't necessarily mean a small amount of hail. I mean hail that is the smallest possible size of hail that you could probably pick up. And it's very interesting because getting hail this time of year, even as we get ready to finish off the month of October and head into the early days of November, is a bit of a rarity. But we kind of find ourselves dealing with a current weather pattern where the freezing level is actually relatively low. So there is an opportunity for hailstones to actually survive the journey down and then land here at the surface still as incredibly small hail. Now, this doesn't happen too terribly often. Normally, the freezing level this time of year is significantly higher. So as that hail falls, it eventually turns into liquid precipitation. All liquid precipitation starts off as hail. It's just a matter of how big is that hail when it's at its highest, and then how much of that hail is then turned into liquid precipitation. At this point, we're talking about hail that's starting off incredibly small and ending even smaller. So that's kind of what we get this afternoon. Radar still picking up on a variety of shower and thunderstorm activity across North Alabama, southern Middle Tennessee. Not as much across Northwest Alabama, Lauderdale, Colbert, and Franklin County. But once you get into Limestone County, Madison County, up across southern Middle Tennessee, we're talking about some rain, a couple of rumbles of thunder. We're also talking about some scattered showers, Morgan County down into Coleman County. And then, of course, we're talking about some scattered showers, a couple of isolated thunderstorms across Northeast Alabama, Jackson, DeKalb, and Marshall counties as well. Now, and for the most part, I would anticipate all of this activity is going to be out of here by the time we get to Thursday night football. Now, we are going to be on the cooler end of the spectrum for Thursday night football. Look at this, 53 at 6, 51 at 7, 50 by 8, 48 degrees by the time we get to 9 o'clock. I also think we're going to begin to lose a lot of the cloud cover as we head into Thursday evening. Thursday evening is definitely going to be one of those nights when you're going to want to come prepared with maybe some warmer clothing, maybe the heavier sweatshirt and even a light jacket. I think you might consider getting both. We finally hit weather for football that would also warrant purchasing a cup of hot chocolate from your favorite concession stand wherever you're going to be watching football on Thursday, which I've been told the number of Thursday night football games might be greater than the number of Friday night football games this week, just because Halloween is, of course, on Friday. And so a lot of the schools ended up moving their games from Friday to Thursday, which is interesting. I've never actually heard of that before. But we can still talk about Friday night football, and I guess you could apply this same forecast to trick-or-treating. Maybe you're not going to be watching football on Friday. Maybe you're going to go trick-or-treating instead. Sorry, if you manage to make it to my house somehow, you're not going to get king-size candy bars. That is not in the budget this year. But I do buy good candy. I do hand out good candy. Why? Because if I don't hand out all of the candy, well, then it's left in my house. So I have to buy candy that I want to eat too. So I do end up buying good candy. 53 degrees at 6 o'clock on Friday, 49 at 7, 47 by 8, and we'll maintain the mid-40s as we head into the middle and later part of the evening under a really nice clear sky. So definitely going to be on the chillier side for Friday night football, definitely going to be chillier for trick-or-treating as well. Let's talk about Auburn. Plenty of sunshine, temperatures in the mid-60s. They're going to be in Auburn this Saturday, 67 degrees, plenty of sunshine, really not a bad day. Alabama's off this weekend, so we can talk about UNA. They get plenty of sunshine. It is going to be warm for UNA, which honestly I find kind of surprising because they're in St. George, Utah this weekend. So actually I find it kind of interesting that temperatures are forecast to be in the upper 70s and lower 80s. And then Alabama A&M, 68 degrees. They're going to be in Grambling, Louisiana. So 68 and a mostly cloudy sky for Alabama A&M. And then, of course, we have the Fox Big Noon Kickoff, which is going to be in Columbus, Ohio. I believe that's going to be Ohio State and Penn State. Nice Big Ten matchup there. I'll always be partial a little bit to Ohio State just because I grew up in Ohio. A mostly cloudy